taxpayers spent $45,000 a year to keep somebody locked up. The taxpayer could maybe spend 10 grand to put them in a drug court program, mental health court, veterans court. And instead of that person being incarcerated, and we've lost a member of our community, they're able to community service. They can do community service. They can get a job. They can have a job at the same time. Right? Like it's the math for alternative sentencing and recovery courts is you can't argue with it. It just works. What is up, everybody? I'm Ben. This is my beautiful wife, Jessica. We are co-founders of We Fight Monsters, and we are Memphians.
So, guys, I'm asking some questions of local Memphians from a Memphian of what you do to help improve our community. What drove you to step up and start fighting what we've got going on now as far as the drug problem and the violence in Memphis?
I'm too stupid to know when I'm outgunned. That was one, right? That's a prerequisite for tackling any big problem. Two, I think the city is worth fighting for. I think Memphians are some of the biggest underdogs in our nation right now. Resilient. The hustle in this city is unmatched anywhere. And I've spent time working all over the world. And I think I can say pretty unequivocally, there is more hustle, more grit, more determination, more resilience in this city than anywhere else I've ever encountered. And the people here are worth fighting for. What made us come back specifically for the drug epidemic here is, I mean, that was my experience, right? You know, I had a great life, and an injury led to a prescribed pain pill addiction, which led to a heroin addiction, which ended up, me homeless. We got out of that in 2019 and decided to come back to the city for everybody that left.
And I think when I had an answer, my next question I was going to ask you is what gives you the most hope about the city? And you've cleared that up with the resiliency. And it's just Memphis is full of grinders. What we could do to help fix everything or fix the drug problem and the recidivism.
Whew, that's a big one. Giving more purpose, for sure. I think a lot of people are not realizing their purpose and their calling. So I think the one thing that we do with our halfway houses are we kind of put people in, like we allow them to come over and help build our houses. We bring them into Hood Mart and let them, volunteer their time to like do we have different things that we allow them to do. And a lot of the times they'll realize, oh, I'm actually good at this, and that they pursue it. And we've had that happen a few times. We had Gangland, which we did, cutting boards, veterans and criminals, people that were unemployable got to come there and build something with their hands. And like one of the guys, he's now building guitars for Gibson Guitar Factory. So I think purpose is a huge thing that will help get them out of that.
The cycle.
Yeah.
No. And I mean, it's not just dope and it's not just recidivism. They're all symptoms of a bigger issue, which Jess just touched on. It's loss of purpose. In particular, no offense, in the male population, I think men in America today, we've lost our sense of purpose. We've lost our understanding of why we're here and what our role should be in society. And then that's a big problem right here in Memphis. Men aren't really able to show up in the ways that I think we're needed to, both in the home and local government. We've got a lot of problems in local government here. There's no way around that. You look at the headlines any given day, and you'll see that there's corruption happening. There's a misallocation of funds. The problems that our municipal government is tasked with solving, sometimes they're not able to solve this because they're so big. That's why we've got the federal government here helping shoulder that load right now. It's funny we're having this conversation with you. Your day job is Memphis police officer. You guys are what, 700 officers short right now? How in any universe can a police department tasked with patrolling America's deadliest city be expected to effectively do their job when they're 700 officers short? Now, if we're talking about a city like New York or Detroit, 700 may not sound like a lot. That's about half your police force.
It's a third of it.
Right. Sure. But in uniform patrol, that's close to half, right? You guys, yeah. And that's insane. Like that's a huge issue that needs to be solved. So when I'm talking about municipal government, that is part of the issue that I'm talking about. We don't have enough boots on the ground with law enforcement. obviously I'm well aware that we're never going to arrest our way out of problems in the city. And I'm not suggesting that in the least, but enforcement is a key piece of that equation. You have to have, swift consequences for bad actions. That's how human beings learn from the time we're little bitty all the way up into adulthood. I know for myself, going to jail sucks. Getting arrested, you guys taking me down to Tool and Poplar and sitting through intake, that made me want to get clean. And so we have to have that enforcement piece. But what comes in on the back side of that is equally, if not more important. And then that's where buildings like 777 South Main Street come into play. Side note, you introduced us to the people who are donating that building to We Fight Monsters. High five for that, right? That's pretty awesome. It's a big boss move. But bringing buildings like that where we're going to have, 28-day treatment, medical detox, job skills training, trade school, like she talked about trying to find purpose. We're going to bring all that under one roof to where you can go literally from the street, complete program, and you're back into the workforce, like without ever having to leave that address. We need programs like that in Memphis. We need programs that do things like youth mentoring. We need programs that partner up that send cops in the inner city with things like Chick-fil-A gift cards. Go play a pickup game of basketball. These are things that they do in Atlanta, and Atlanta has a lot of the same socioeconomic issues and the same demographics as we have here in Memphis. Yet Atlanta is not even in the top 50 deadliest cities in America. And I really believe that the police engagement and the municipal government engagement with the youth in the inner city is a big reason for that. Go ahead.
Well, so I'm saying that's why I'm so excited about 777, because I think we can get off-duty police officers to volunteer, because we don't want to lock our way up out of this.
No,
We want to try and fix people. We'd rather get them to places like Alliance, 777, things like that.
Just did that with Bubba 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Right. You had a guy who could have taken to jail, and instead you took him to Alliance to get the help he needed. And that's the thing. I mean, most of the people committing crimes in the city are not bad people. They're just lost, man. They're just making bad decisions and need a little bit of help finding their way back home. Jails and institutions were made for very specific people, in my opinion. People that commit sexual violence, child molesters, people that harm women and children. Locking up addicts all day long, like I said, helped me get sober, but it's not a long-term solution. So when we're talking about reducing recidivism, programming is going to be key to that. Community involvement, that has off-duty police officers. It has judges going back to the community.
But there's just so much data in the jail, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's a losing battle, because again, the sheriff's department is equally as short as the police department. They can't control
Right.
They can't control everything comes out and out of the jail.
Yeah. No, they can't. And so we've got to have, these community efforts bringing basically the entirety of Memphis together around these common problems that, whether we realize it or not, are impacting every single one of us.
Yeah. And that's where I think too, and that's, but I think just get people figuring out how to get the expungement process going faster, so people get their driver's license again.
Absolutely.
I say get them to where they can take the test.
Yeah.
Because it just, when you start talking to people about getting their driver's license, they just get a glow about them, because they're like, I don't have to walk. I don't have to ride a bicycle.
Or I don't have to,
ride Mata.
keep looking over my shoulder, because let's be real, pretty much everybody's going to be driving on a suspended license. I know I sure did. It's interesting you bring up, I'm not advocating for that, by the way. If your license is suspended, don't drive. All right, please. The expungement process, it does need to get streamlined. We have a good mechanism for it to happen here, but as we've actually seen personally with Justice expungement, which was filed for almost a year ago, they told her it was the easiest expungement they've ever seen. She is a felon for theft over $500. As I'm sure you're aware, that's not even a felony.
It's a misdemeanor now.
It's a misdemeanor now. So
So
they told her it was the easiest expungement they had ever seen. It'd be done in 6 weeks. We're almost a year later and it's still not done. And you got to remember, I know people in the DA's office and the court and the criminal court clerk's office. Like, I know all these people, and they still it's taking time. We've got a handful of dudes and women that we've gotten off the streets that are trying to figure out how to pay fines to get their licenses back.
Lights where I wish we could bring back, or bring something where like community service working at 777.
Dude,
4 hours gets you $400 credit.
yeah.
I mean, not $10 for each hour, $100 for
Yeah,
each hour.
I love that idea. I hadn't actually thought about that. I'm sitting here trying to think about how do we just get rid of the fines.
But
That's even better, man. Put some service hours in.
Right up.
Because what ends up happening is most everybody loves human connection, whether you admit it or not. I don't care how introverted you are. She's a great example. You love human connection. When you go do community service and you're actually, getting your hands dirty, helping other people here in the city, you feel good about yourself. And when you feel good about yourself, you're less likely to do jacked up things.
then it's like I've tried to explain to people that think that that's going to cause a shortfall in budget. That's no way it's going to, because you're not getting.
They're not getting the money anyway. That's
So
exactly right.
and then if we can get them driving, then they're going to get jobs. They're going to spend money. Then it's going to create sales tax. You got to look at it that way instead of, well, we just can't keep leaving them for their fines.
100%, man. So, but the same thing with the revolving door at 201 and the Penal Farm. I mean, taxpayers are spending $45,000 a year to keep somebody locked up. The taxpayer could maybe spend 10 grand to put them in a drug court program, mental health court, veterans court. And instead of that person being incarcerated, and we've lost a member of our community, they're able to
community service.
they can do community service, they get a job, they
They
can
have
take
a
care
job
of
at the same
kids.
time, right?
Like it's the math for alternative sentencing and recovery courts is you can't argue with it. It just works.
And it's just got to be forward thinkers like us. So they're going to lay their bodies and souls on the line to try.
I like the way you put that, man. But that is how it feels a lot of days. You put your body and your soul on the line.
It is. So, well, guys, I appreciate the time. I think that sums up everything that we're trying to get across to Memphis for right now.
Well, I want to kick it back your way and throw it in reverse. You've been doing police work in the city how long?
20 years.
Why?
Because I love Memphis. And
Really?
I saw it. Well, I bartended on Beale Street for 10 years and 3 on Memphis, and I saw the addicts, and I just want to try and help fix or save those people that are on that addiction path versus, like you said, trying to lock our way up out of it and those kinds of things. I think I just got a lot of ideas like the community service thing, working for 777 or any church or any community organization. Just have volunteers. As long as it's an organized group, the court system should give you some kind of credit for your
No, I could not agree.
It's just simple math.
So, Keely, after 20 years, you still have like 20 years dealing with the worst a lot of times. You still got the same passion for the
Yeah,
city? Why?
100%. Just again, because I think there's still a goodness in 95% of America and
Man,
all of Shelby County, Memphis, everywhere. It's just, you got to help those people find that pathway. Like I've got classmates that are as high ranking as a major, but being a kid that grew up on the streets in Fraser, I'm going to stay on the streets as a patrolman just because I think that's where I can make my best effect.
man,
To the
I think if
population.
everybody in Memphis had the mentality, where can I make the biggest difference? And then go do it. That's the thing. We all have a lot of good ideas. Not a lot of people are willing to go put action behind it.
Yep.
And I think the one constant that I've seen in people who think like you do, like we do, and I'll be honest, it is way easier to think positively than negatively. Like life's just a lot more pleasant this way. That is the one constant, is that they're actually putting action into what they do. Jess and I worked a missing girl case in the Tenderloin district of San Francisco, but about a year ago. No, it was cold. Whatever. We worked a missing girl case,
Ain't
and
that much.
we oh yeah, you knew about that. I forgot. So we talked with the police that were working the Tenderloin, obviously, because I'm so big on trying to bring law enforcement and the streets together, and there's no better way to do that than a missing girl. You know, so we were dealing with cops out there, and I asked this lieutenant, or I guess Jess may have asked him, what did he say? Because we're like, what is going on out here? Because Tenderloin, it's nothing like Memphis.
No.
Open air drug markets,
Yeah.
there's dead people everywhere.
They
We get it.
can't do anything. I mean, there's no point. Because I think you
That
said
cops worse, lieutenants
Yeah.
worse. There's no
there's
point.
no point. That's exactly what he told us. And it was just soul crushing to hear that. Because you see all these people all around you, and it's literally walking zombies. And there's
It's
no
just
point.
so far gone.
This
Yeah.
dude's just he's walking down to retirement. He's given up completely, you know, and that's one thing I don't know if it's the city of Memphis, if it's your mentality, but I've never seen that come from you. Like you always see the light at the other end of this tunnel. And I do think that's a testament to the city of Memphis, because we can sit here and talk about the problems here all day long, but everybody sees the potential that we're trying to bring back out of it.
And that's where I like, again, still being on the streets with the new officers coming in. They don't know, they've lived in the COVID world growing up, going to high school and college, or just computer world, whereas when we grew up, we were out on the streets playing.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if you
Yeah.
were poor or broke, whatever. We just all were out playing. And so we just need, I think, me having that, being able to teach them how to talk to people and that kind of thing. Because like the first time we met, you were amazed at how many people I knew in the neighborhood, just at how they talked.
Yeah, I'm still amazed.
In my uniform, like, oh, good.
Yeah, we're talking like OGs in the South Memphis.
You don't see
And
that
love
too
this
often.
man. You really don't.
But it's just because I've always treated them with respect. I mean,
And you can
I was
tell.
on
You
their
can
You can
level.
tell that they know that.
Yeah.
I've never jammed anybody up, or it was just, hey man, it's business.
Yeah.
When you get out,
Well,
there, we're still gonna be on the second level.
It's exactly right. I had something else I was going to throw at you now that I pulled my Uno reverse and taken over your interview here. Sorry about that, JR. Hold on. It's coming to me. It was there. Okay. So you're an FTO, right?
Yep.
Field training officer. That means that new recruits, when they hit the streets, they go out with you, learning the ropes of police work. I've met some of your rookies, I think, or was it
Yeah.
juniors? Okay. Young, like kids. Makes me feel old shit seeing
The
cops
last one,
that are my
Julio.
kids' age,
He was 22.
Julio, that was yours. That wasn't kid. Okay. I like that guy. He's sharp. So
cool.
that's actually a perfect segue to this question. Working with this next generation of Memphians that are going in and following in your footsteps in police work, does it give you pause? Does it give you more hope? Is it a net neutral kind of thing?
No, it gives me hope because they're doing it for the right reasons. I know that the media says a lot of things. Oh, they've hired, or you'll hear, not won't say to me, people in general, naysayers. Well, they hired 200 people, and that there's no way that 200 people graduated from the police academy didn't pass the test or whatever. Well, we probably lose 30 to 40% of them. So out of 200, you're going to graduate at 150, which that's the 150 best people. And even then, you might get on the job 3 years and then go, I just can't deal with it.
Yeah.
But at least you tried.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Is
Well, I think it's just like
you
military
try.
service, man. You just serve your country, your community in some kind of, whether it's through police work, nonprofit work, go put on a uniform, something. I think everybody needs to do that. And being able to see this new generation of Memphians come up and stand up for their city has been pretty awesome. We get to watch through you.
And then the ones I know that have left the department at a young age, they've gone on to other things, being some sort of psychological or drug counselor or alliance or lakeside. They go into that kind of field. They just decided that the policing side, because they don't want to lock people up, they want to be on this side of it, that are more of the rehab side.
It's where can I make the biggest
So
difference?
service.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
still serving. So that's the main thing. Is when they leave the police, they're not leaving. They're just picking a different pathway to home. So
That's what it's all about, man. About serving the neighbors.
Yep.
So Memphis is worth saving. Oh, and by the way, Memphis is love.